Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chris Vitali, and you are back on Totally Baseless, where we go outside the lines and inside the minds of some of the best in the baseball biz. And today, I am very happy to announce my guest. 7 years in Major League Baseball for 5 different teams, and later this year, he will be the head coach up in Northern California of the Lincoln University Oaks. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Franklin is here with us. Wayno, how are you today?
I am in prime shape, baby. Let's go.
All right. That sounds good, man. Look at you go. All right. So you gearing up for this season? Your head coaching experience up there? What's going on?
I can't wait, man. That's my favorite part. Like,
your first time doing it, right?
As a head coach at the college level, yes, I've been the head coach in collegiate summer ball. Won a championship my first year ever in collegiate summer ball. But really been waiting for this chance. People don't know much about my background as far as a player goes. I was a two-way player in college. So, I didn't even know what I was. I think I should have gotten drafted as a hitter. Seattle wanted to give me that chance, but the Dodgers drafted me as a pitcher.
Those bastards. And they just wouldn't give you a chance? Like they really just, they wouldn't.
Yeah, I hit cleanup all the way through college, man. I just
really?
I was really hoping Seattle would draft me. They were going to give me a chance to do both.
Pitch and hit. Oh man, you would have been trailblazer here.
I would have been. Hey, Babe Ruth, man. We're Marylanders. It's our heritage.
There it is. See, I mean, it's in your DNA, man. But
that's it, man.
You know, I wanted to talk a little bit today about, since you were not the two-way player that you were through college in Major League Baseball and you were a reliever, I want to get into the mindset of what it's like mentally coming out of the bullpen. But you just said, you went from a two-way player to strictly a pitcher. I mean, did you have to change anything at all when you just became a pitcher full time?
I'm really glad you asked me that, actually, because that's something that I don't think a lot of guys are prepared for. The year I got drafted was, oh my goodness, it was 1996. So we're that far away. It was 28 years ago.
Ugh, don't remind me.
I graduated college and got drafted right around the same week, maybe within, I think, wow, at least within 10 days of one another. And then next thing you know, I'm in Yakima, Washington, playing short season baseball. Yeah. And it really was. It was a mental strain. I have been used to playing every day, every inning of every game, every year, my whole life, one way or another, whether it was pitching, playing first base, or playing right field, every inning of every game, forever and ever. And all of a sudden I go here and there's no guarantee when I'm going to play, because I started out as a reliever in the minor leagues. And yeah, I was a closer, setup guy all the way through the minor leagues. It was very difficult mentally. Like, I thought it was borderline depressing. No kidding. Oh, wow. I was really not happy in my situation being just a pitcher like that. I really had to learn how to do. I went to my pitching coach and I was like, "Hey man, can you teach me like how to do this, how to mentally handle going from playing every." He said, "You know what? You might want to talk to the manager about that. He's got a lot of experience with guys and he's been a manager for a while." So I went and talked to him, and his name was Joe Vavra, who's a great coach. He was a great manager too. He just had to kind of talk me through it. Just say, just take it one day at a time. Just go from there and just kind of let it soak in. Don't be in a rush. Just kind of take a deep breath, kind of one inning of every game, like just kind of let it settle in. Don't rush it. If you're just trying to force it, it's really going to get to you. Yeah. And that really helped me. I don't know why, but it really helped me.
I mean, that kind of brings me to my next question is did that help you? Just having to know that you basically have to always just be ready to come on at a moment's notice, that you're going to get up, you're going to warm up. How long did it take you, would you say, to really kind of start to feel comfortable knowing that your number could be called at any moment?
Yeah, well, I started picking up instances. One good thing I learned was, okay, find all the lefties in their lineup, in the other team's lineup that day. Where are they? Because usually if you come in, unless you're the closer, it doesn't matter what hand you are when you're the closer. You're going to face anybody.
Sure.
And Joe, he was the type manager where he didn't really play that a lot. And I love that about him because he just, hey, my pitcher does well against righties, so I'm going to leave him in to face righties too. He never put me in to just face one guy. So he would let me pitch multiple innings or a whole inning, and figured out the pattern of where I started learning Joe, our manager, when he was putting me in, what situations. And once I figured that part out, I started to be able to sense when I was going to be needed to pitch. And that became kind of a cool job. Watching the game, learning the game, watching certain hitters, and then, getting to understand when they would need me. And it made it a lot easier. It really did.
I can imagine that it would, because it's not like you're just sitting out there, bullshitting, just, throwing sunflower seeds around in a bullpen, and all of a sudden, get Franklin up. It's so if you're kind of you're into the game. And that was actually something else I was going to ask you, is about, how much prep you would do on an opposing lineup. Maybe this even goes towards more of your major league years. Exactly. I mean, like, how much in advance did you have a plan? You know who you're facing. You have a 4-game series against a team. So you obviously, I guess in your pitching meetings, you're studying lineups, tendencies and whatnot. How much of that did you do in your meetings, and how often did that go out the window because the situation just dictated a new plan as you went pitch by pitch?
Yeah, well, in the minor leagues, we didn't have the meeting every series. Because you don't have video of other teams. Nobody, teams didn't televise their games back then. Minor league teams, anyway, especially short season teams. And it was a good time to really get to know yourself, who you are as a pitcher. There's a thing I truly believe, and I teach it to pitchers I coach, is that knowing yourself is the most important thing you could do. Because the more you know about yourself, the less you have to know about the batters you're going to face. As long as you know what you can do and what your strengths are, that's the problem the hitter's going to have. You don't have a problem with him. He's going to have to hit your strengths. Yeah. So in that way, it helps you prepare that way. I think it helps you build that confidence in yourself and to know yourself in the minor leagues. You get to the big leagues and you're doing the meetings. You're like, why are we even doing these meetings? Just tell me who's hot and who's not.
Really?
Who's swinging a hot bat? Like who's hitting all the close pitches? You'll find out from a lot of relievers who's hot and who's not. They'll say that. They're like, I don't care what so-and-so's done in the last 15 games or what. Like, who's hot right now? Who's not? I don't want to know the scouting report. Like, likes the inside pitch, doesn't like the high, whatever. But if I know a guy's hot, then okay, I'm not going to play around with that. I mean, a hot hitter's a hot hitter. Yeah. It's like, if pitchers could be 100% perfect every pitch, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But nobody's like that. So you just look for the guys who are cold.
Basically, I guess there is such a thing as information overload. And I can't imagine that that's good for a pitcher.
Right. And passing information during a game.
Okay. Say you're out in the pen. Everybody's out there. It's the third or fourth inning. I mean, how much are you guys dissecting what's going on with an opposing lineup? And how many tips are you giving to each other, and what you're noticing, and how you can attack these guys once you get the call?
Well, it just depends on how the individual pitcher, has he faced these guys a lot? Has he faced certain hitters a lot?
Sure.
Or is he going to rely on his teammates saying, hey, is there anything you can tell me that they didn't mention it in the meeting or something like that? Or you just say, screw it, I throw 97 and I know I can throw the glove side strike at will. So
yeah,
he's going to have to hit that. He's going to have to hope I make a mistake.
You had said a while back to me that, and I thought it was really interesting. It was just kind of a blanket statement about pitching. That was, hitting is all timing, and pitching is disrupting that timing. And that stuck with me because it's really it sounds so simple, but it's not. I mean, that's the thing.
It's not, because there's a lot of intangibles. There's a lot of intangibles. For example, confidence. How you feel? Are you feeling confident today about your stuff? That matters, because confidence to throw the changeup today. If you don't have the confidence, well, what fools the hitter on a changeup? Well, it's arm speed. But if you don't have confidence in the changeup that day, your arm speed won't be the same. Your arm speed has to look like your fastball arm speed. But if you don't trust the pitch, it will not look like that. And you'll slow your arm down, and actually you'll throw the hitter will pick that up. And if it's a fat pitch, he'll crush it. And if it's out of the zone, he'll take it. He'll see the change in your arm speed. I always tell my pitchers, what do you do when you don't trust the pitch and it's the right pitch to throw? They're like, I say, you trust it anyway. You trust it anyway. You just do it as aggressively as you can. If you look, what you know and what you feel in baseball should be the same thing. That is, especially in pitching, what you know and what you feel physically in your hand should be the same thing. It's a simple, like I've told guys that and it blows their mind. They're like, man, that really makes sense. I'm like, it's because it's absolutely true. What do I know about pitching in this particular thing, about a release, about where my elbow should be? What did I feel when I threw it? There you go.
See, I'm learning something because I always sucked as a pitcher. I had no control, so that's why they never put me out there. I'd be hitting people left and right and sending people to the hospital. So
you just broke one of the rules of pitching, man.
What's that?
You were thinking about what you don't want to do instead of what you do want to do. You were thinking about, I don't want to hit the guy, but what did you just think about? You just thought about hitting the guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just thought about hitting him.
Yeah.
I don't want to hit this guy. The brain can't process.
That's a good point.
So in your mind, you just saw yourself hitting the guy. So why don't you tell yourself what to do instead of what not to do?
Oh, there you go. See, I didn't have anyone tell me that in my life, but
that's it.
but it makes sense. Later in life, it's good to know. Yep. But I don't think I'm scaring anybody at my advanced age.
Hey, when you have kids, when you have nieces, nephews, they all want to play baseball. So there you go.
Yeah, well, I'll brush them back a little bit. Screw it. Why not?
Yeah, get down there. Yeah. Shave them. There you go.
Well, that's actually something else I wanted to ask you. The difference because it wasn't that long ago when you were playing. I mean, I guess if you break it down, but it's not like, you didn't play in the dead ball era. You didn't play in the 60s. It was close. There was the mid 2000s, late 2000s. What's changed?
It's easier to pitch now.
Okay, why? I was going to say what sticks out to me is you're not allowed to throw inside, which is kind of annoying to me.
Well, that's not true. Who cares what hitters think? They can piss and moan.
That's because you're a pitcher saying that.
We talked about it. I was a position player in college though.
No,
I know the rules. I know I never got cocky in the box and nobody ever threw at me.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to do that in the major league. But here's why baseball pitching is easier now. Here's the argument. I'm not going to say I'm right or wrong because we'll never know. You can't ever compare one generation to another.
No,
but
it's weak.
Here's the one thing that separates. I've heard people now say the hitters now are stronger than they've ever been. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you know what era I played in? Have you ever heard a ball come off of a steroid bat? I've heard a ball come off a steroid bat. And let me tell you what, it's a different sound. It's a different sound. And the fact that I didn't do steroids, and the facts are there, I never tested positive and never will, was not mentioned in any reports. But it's a different sound. When the ball goes by you, I've had ground balls go by me, and I'm like, steroid ball. And because you know how it sounds like, it's almost, we're like, a nice, well hit ball, normally hit right up the middle. They're hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
But a steroid ball, man, it's like the mix of like a circular saw with a swarm of bees. That's what it sounds like when it goes by your head.
Oh my God.
Does that paint a picture?
Yeah, no, that sounds exactly right. I can't imagine one coming like a comeback or right at you. Like, get the hell down.
Yeah. Don't tell me hitters are bigger and stronger now. Like, I'm not going to agree with that, man. I played in the steroid era. I know what bigger and stronger sounds like, dude. It's
Yeah.
a different sound. And some of those fields I played on were that hard turf. Think about Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Oh, it's concrete with
Yeah, that
yeah.
hard turf. Yeah, like there's no way you like if a ball were hit back to me, I would try and block it though. I mean, you just do like
Yeah.
being competitive. But I'm like, if I ever had to have done that with one of those balls, it could have like made my heart skip a couple beats if it hit my chest.
Oh, I believe it. But I guess your instinct is you're going to turn into your boy Ron Hextall and you're going to drop and try and kick the ball a little bit. And
Yeah, I'm glove saving that bad boy.
Absolutely.
I might skate save it if I have to. It was part of the game, so you just went about your business. You said, "Well, I better make sure I execute pitches."
Yeah. That's one way to do it for sure.
And definitely don't walk the guys in front of those guys.
Oh yeah, that's the last thing you need. Yeah, two on, and here comes two on. Here comes
whoever.
I won't name any names, but I can't imagine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, fill in the blank with that one. But I wanted to ask before we move on, and we're still kind of talking about just the mental side of coming out of the bullpen. I just wanted to ask because I've always wanted to know, how do you handle? I'm sure you've had games where you're warming up, you're sitting down, you're warming up, you're sitting down again. By the time say that happens 2 or 3 times, how does that affect you mentally? I mean, if it does at all, which I'm sure everything in baseball affects somebody mentally as a player. So how does this affect you mentally?
To me, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
So you can't bitch about it. It's just part. You got to be ready when they call your number. I don't know. I took a very lax approach to that because I used to like to get up a lot. I love that. I was like, the adrenaline would flow. It would flow all over again. You don't lose the adrenaline. Like it can kickstart you again. You're like, whew. But then I just figured out to where, okay, I got up last inning. They said to get up this inning, be ready. That's where knowing yourself is. You're a grown ass man. You got to know yourself at that point. Like, how many do I need? I might need 2 or 3. I'm ready. Like, if you're out there, you're throwing no hitters down there in the pens. Like, well, what are you doing, man? Like, you're throwing 100 pitches. Just are you 8 pitches away? Because you get 8 pitches when you get out to the mound. Like, yeah, I was very fortunate. I think I used to think it was just the norm, but I could get loose fast, so I wouldn't blow it down there. I mean, they never like to get you up more than twice. If they get you up 2 innings and you don't go in a lot of times, that they won't get you up a third time. They just won't do it like most times. And especially now when they are so it's like being budget conscious, They're pinching every penny like, nah, we're not going to get him up again. That was twice. I don't care if he's the right guy right now. Like, what? It's about winning right now. Like, I want to get up. Trust me, I'm going to raise my hand. Get me in the game.
Yeah,
please
I'm ready. I've been ready. Throw me out there.
Yeah.
Let me go.
Yeah. I didn't mind that. I was like, that's what lefties do. But that's why I liked when I became a starter for the 2 years I was a starter. Like, I did that role so much. The routine, I love the routine of a starter more.
Really?
That was great. Yeah. I liked the adrenaline of the late inning stuff, but I did like the routine of a starter.
I can see that. I mean, what was that in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I became a starter in 2002, and then I got traded to Milwaukee that year. I finished that year in Milwaukee as a starter, and then all of 2003 as a starter. Got 200 innings.
So if you had to pick one, so I guess they both had their ups and their pros and their cons. But
I mean,
which was easier on your arm?
I was fortunate. When I was a starter, 2003, for example, when Glennon Rush was my teammate there in Milwaukee, and Ned Yost was the manager. Ned knew that I could throw a lot. So not only did I led all left-handed starters in 2003 in the National League in starts. But I also made 3 appearances out of the bullpen that year too.
That's a solid year. It's a good workload. And your arm held up and you never had any major injuries
I've never had an injury. Never, no scars, no injuries. I think I would, Oral Hershiser said it one time. He said, some arms are meant to throw baseballs, some are not.
Yeah. That's a really good line from the Bulldog.
And he's the guy who had shoulder surgery. I mean,
yes, he did.
What a great pitcher.
Oh,
what
yeah.
a great pitcher.
He had a long career too. So I mean, he's
a big game, man. He's such a big game guy.
Yep. I mean, if
what
he's
he did
talking
for Cleveland
pitching,
in '95. Think about 97 with Cleveland.
Yeah, I'd rather
right?
not.
He was there both years.
Yeah, I'd rather not think about that as a Yankee fan, but he was still great at at that point. Yeah, I mean, and he just that's longevity, man.
You got to appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason they called him the Bulldog. I mean, that's for sure.
He was a Bulldog.
Yeah.
Oh, great nickname.
But it's funny because you just had mentioned Glendon Rush was your teammate over in Milwaukee. So I was going to ask you a little bit about teammates. Other pitchers that you played with, whether in the pen, whether in a rotation. In my mind, you shared bullpens with two of the best closers of all time, and Mariano Rivera and Billy Wagner.
To me, the two best to me.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand if somebody wanted to throw Trevor Hoffman in there as well, but I mean, you got two of the top three of all time.
Trevor's third on the list, but Billy's number two.
Okay, I have to ask you, did you ever try to learn the cutter from Mariano?
Oh, I got him to show me how to throw it. Yeah.
Did it work?
I threw like a version of one, like a friend showed me that I played with. So, and then I wanted to test the grips and see how Mariano threw. But they're vaguely different, but Mariano had the perfect throwing mechanics for a cutter. The way he threw the ball was perfectly made for a cut fastball. It absolutely was. And when he found that pitch, man, it was serendipity, man. Like he just became like people wanted to say, it's just how does a guy dominate one pitch? I'm like, how many quadrants are there in a strike zone? There's 4, obviously, quadrant, right? That's 4 different pitches, man.
Yeah. And he's hitting them just wherever he wanted it. He put them.
Wherever he wanted. I mean, that's why. I mean, he is the only unanimous Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for a reason. Did you ever try catching one of those things when you were out there?
Well, I mean, have you ever played catch with somebody who has perfect command? It's like playing catch with Greg Maddux. It's going to be an easy day of catch.
Yeah. It's
an easy day of catch if you play catch with them. Yeah, they're going to be nice and easy with you. And closers are funny like that. If there was ever anything you could say as diva about closers, is that they are guys who do not want to quote unquote waste bullets.
Oh,
but they're not divas. It's just that's one of those things where you're like, wow, that's really a thing with closers. They don't want to waste bullets, man.
Really?
And I'm like, I get it. Even if it's a mental thing, it works.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do.
Well, I mean, okay, so we talked about the cutter with Mariano, but what about a fellow lefty and Billy Wagner?
True story right here. I'm proud of it too.
We like true stories.
When we were teammates in Houston, Billy, he wanted me to show him how I threw my slider.
Get out of here, really?
He wanted to learn how to throw my slider. Yeah, I promise you.
That's awesome.
I was so proud of that, dude. I was like, can I record that, bro? But no, he did. He wanted me to. I was so proud of that. So proud of that. And he was my catch partner, man. And he was.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know how to describe. And he didn't even do it on purpose, man. He had that short arm release, and dude, the ball comes right out of his chest. But when it comes out, it's 101. And it's like if we back up, once we get to about 100 feet, the ball would have so much backspin on it. It would literally explode and take off. Like the first time I played catch with him I got back to the 100, 120 feet. He threw me one, and I thought it was right at my head. I was going to catch. Dude, it literally took off and went. I missed the ball. It's not even a joke. I'm not even joking. Like, I consider myself, I had really good vision. I had 2012 vision, man. I had 2012 vision back then. And he threw it, and it just exploded and took off. I was like, is that normal for you? He said, yeah, I'm just playing catch. I'm like, okay. But after that, I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I started learning, okay, he released it here. I'm going to catch it here. But that first time, it was just like awe-inspiring. You're like, that's why this guy's the best right now.
Yeah. And that was from 120? It still was running like that?
The ball just
oh my God.
Yeah, you've seen obviously the field there. what then was Enron Field.
Oh yeah, Enron.
Okay, in left center where the gas pump is, right up on that balcony.
Yeah.
So he and I, we got a basket of baseballs one day, the little bag they brought out for people to play catch with, and he and I stood there on the right field line. That's where our the home side, and we each tried to see how many times we could hit that gas pump. That's how far we were throwing it one day. We were just, it's good to be young, right? It was good to be young.
Yeah.
I think we both hit it once. We hit the gas pump once, but we threw several up on that balcony. So the people got some free balls up on that concourse. That was so fun to do that, though. We were having a blast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My shoulder hurts just even thinking about that now.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, I used to throw hard, especially in the pen, but Billy was another level, man.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Like 101. Like, dude, I was mid-90s out of the pen then.
Yeah.
And, dude, he made me look like a girl. That his fastball? Dude, his fastball was so explosive. You can ask any hitter, I'm telling you. And he had a short fuse, man. No pun intended. But he had a short fuse. And I loved it. And everybody did. We all loved it. We all knew it. And we all loved it. He went in one day and he got hit around a little bit. He gave up a run or two. He was just an off. He went right in. Larry Durker was our manager then. And he went right into Dirk's office and he goes, I don't care what the score is tomorrow. I'm pitching the ninth inning no matter what. That's what he told Dirk. And Dirk said, okay. Billy went out there and just, I'll never forget it. He went out there and just struck out 3 guys like it was hot knife through butter, man. He just wanted to go out there and get it right again. He was so pissed, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't want to face Billy Wagner when he was in a good mood. If he's pissed off, forget it.
I love that guy, man.
Oh, that's great.
He was so cool, though. He was such a good teammate, good friend, man. Good dude. Well,
here's hoping that he finally gets into the Hall of Fame next year, deservedly so.
It is a crime that he's not.
And really quickly, as we're winding down, we got news today that Jimmy Williams passed away. Great manager. I know you played for him briefly in Houston, correct?
Yeah, 2002. Then he traded me for Mark Loretta.
Oh, that's how you wound up in Milwaukee.
It's a good trade.
Well, for Loretta's a great hitter. It's not a bad trade.
No, I'm proud of that trade, man. Loretta's a great player.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you have a lot of time with Jimmy Williams, or was it just so fast that
pitchers, they just don't get around the manager that much? The relievers.
You have a pitching coach.
You know. Yeah. I mean, Jimmy though, he was great. He was old grizzled vet. He was old school baseball, like,
which is
I
awesome.
love that about him. He was awesome, man. I mean, you know, after they traded me to Milwaukee, that was our second series for me at home as a Brewer. But you know what? When Astros got to town, I was out there shagging. Who was the first one that came out and said hi to me? Was Jimmy.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's how good of a dude he was.
Yeah. I mean, everything that you've seen online or that I've heard on the radio today, I mean, it's nothing but just glowing statements about him. So, but it's always sad when, when baseball loses a guy like that, a baseball lifer. And so.
Absolutely.
He's a good one. So we pay our respects to Jimmy Williams right now.
He was so humble. He only spelled his name with 1 M.
Hey, so did Jimi Hendrix. Also not bad. Also not bad.
He was humble too, though. But he was left-handed and a genius.
There you go. Well, as we are coming towards the end of our episode, ladies and gentlemen, so as we like to do here on Totally Baseless, I'm going to get the pitch clock started on Wayne. We're going to do a little rapid-fire action. You knew it was coming, but I didn't tell you what it was going to be.
That's right.
That's true. But it's the same thing that I've been doing because people, for some ungodly reason, like it. So we are going to go with, I'm going to name the 5 cities that you played in. And I want to know the first thing that comes to your mind, post-game meal. First thing that comes to mind, each of these 5 cities. You ready?
Ooh.
That's what I like to hear. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start with Houston.
Oh, okay. Enchiladas.
Enchiladas. Nice. Okay. Milwaukee.
Oh, bratwurst.
San Francisco.
Sushi.
Good choice. New York.
Steak. And pizza's really close, dude. Nothing like good pie, man. You just go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's in New York. It's very different. And last but not least, how about Atlanta?
Oh man, oh, chicken. I don't know why, but it always seemed like we had the best chicken in the clubhouse. I just remember
Really?
that.
That's actually, believe it or not, that's the second chicken that I've gotten from Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, they bring chicken to the clubhouse. You're like, holy cow, I might stay here overnight, man. That's how good it was. Dead serious.
It's so that was your post-game spread that they just loaded you up with that stuff?
Yeah, but there'd be so much to the spread. I mean, it's just the side dishes, the potatoes, the green beans, the fresh vegetables, and then the desserts. I don't eat dessert if I work really hard that day.
Those are the days that you get up twice in the pen. Then you get up.
Well,
and
yeah,
get down,
and they did have.
go.
Yeah, they had good peach pie in Atlanta in the clubhouse.
Of
course, right? Of course. Yeah.
I mean, they have to.
Money.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Chris Vitali. That is Wayne Franklin. Wayne, thanks again for coming on.
No, thanks for having me on, man. Like, no, it was fun. See, I'm just being my normal self. When my wife says my being left-handed is, my birth defect. So.
Abby something. Abby normal. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chris Vitali. I'd like to thank Wayne Franklin once again. This has been Totally Baseless. We will catch you next time. Adios, muchachos.